Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and today we're going to do a look into the unknown, and it is the psychic medium reading for about obscurities. And basically, what we need to do is this: it is about gray matter. Now, gray matter is something that actually is, when you sit and you're like around a campfire, and when you're around the campfire and you say, you got to put a due date on this and you got to actually do it done because you got to be done with the situation. You got to be done with like everything, and where you say, you know what, mom or dad or sister, brother or friend, neighbor, you really need to stay in your lane. And then you go, you know what, I forgot about it. And then all of a sudden you say, I just can't even do. Now, here's about something about obscurities. Things are not always occulted. Things are not always locked and blocked. Some things are just sheer energy. And when it's sheer energy, it can actually fog you up, like if you have dementia or Alzheimer's. And when you have it like that, you couldn't even do. You couldn't even do. Now, when you sit there and you have to say, you're like an energy vampire, and then you say, no, you can't even see it at all. That you can't even believe it was sitting right next to you. And they drained you. Why? Because they need energy. They need clear, clean energy. So what do? They do it in such a way of just regulating their breathing that they can't even get it done. Nobody else can get it done. So when we went to the point of the highest extent where caregiver burnout was a truth in many places, you can't even sue anyone on that, especially if it's your family member. But let's actually look at the poker cards and actually do a do. Now, when we do it and we see it and we sue it and we say, you know what, stay in your lane, stay away, just go about and, I'm done with you. You have to say there was something wrong. There was something wrong. And you can't even do it. So where is this? How do you actually defeat it? How do you actually defeat it? How do you actually go through everything when you're having gray matter issues? So not to poke fun of Alzheimer's or dementia, it really is gray energy. That's all it is. Someone could be of clear sunlight and have gray energy. You go through the Jack of Diamonds and you see as much as you can with like a line of clear sight right across, right on the horizon. And you say, nope, right there. That is my due date. Right here, it is odd that the Queen of Diamonds would actually come out with the Jack of Diamonds. And when you would say it's solidified, you can't even do it. But then the Queen of Spades comes out and something actually runs through and spares it and says, nope. Nine of Diamonds, I dictate and I control when your due date is due. And when you say Four of Clubs goes, yes, absolutely. It is teamwork at that point. Whoever is with you. So when you actually are working with, say you do Wicca or you do any type of a line of work where you have to meet a deadline and you keep missing trajectory and deadlines and anything like that. And they're like, I just don't understand why they have $15,000 in back taxes. It comes right out here with the Eight of Hearts. You can't even sue them when it comes to that. Now, when you see the Eight of Clubs with the Eight of Diamonds, it really is a go through. It really is a ride in the car. And when you see it and you go, you can't even duo. You can't even do anything. But when you see this Two of Diamonds, it is so solid and alone. And right as they are, they come right to you and they say, I just can't get it done. I just literally can't get this done. They're honest. This Jack of Spades comes in and says, you can't even believe how hard it is. And you can see the exhaustion. So what do you actually do? This is what you actually have to do. When you have that presentation of energy where it is gray matter, but it's not Alzheimer's dementia, but they are forgetful, and it is like an energy vampire where they drain you, you actually have to be away from them, and you literally got to dictate, and you really have to write everything down, and you have to get back on track. And sometimes it's okay to say, stay away. Stay away. There was something not right. When it keeps coming back to you, though, with this 10 of hearts, you have to say, there's something to it. Why do you keep having this cycle of where you need to come back to me, even though you drain me, person, or situation that you just can't even understand because I'm literally doing everything right. The 7 of hearts with the 10 of hearts is going to say it's a backtrack to where you take a back step and say, back down on the floor. Back down on the floor. This 5 of diamonds literally will say right to it, I can't even believe how hard it is to, like, after backtrack and you go right forward and right to it, that you have to stay solid. You have to stay alone. You got to stay alone. And then when you say it, you have to say, yeah, I don't understand why they do better alone. Those are everyone's different voices. Now, when you see this and you see this 9 of clubs, you say it really is a workforce. It really is like the town. It really is anything of that nature. But what do you actually see when you're having like issues with people's gray matter energy, which is like what we said, not Alzheimer's dementia, not poking fun of anyone. It is truly fog, brain fog, letting loose. So let's actually, from what I know from being a magician and working alongside with healthcare and law enforcement and military, that you can't even believe how hard it is to explain that you just can't do it because you're not clear. Like, you're like, you can't do those things because you're not clear. I can see it right to the highest max because you wouldn't have written that. What's wrong with you? Go get a wellness check. No, I'm a clear, sound mind and I can do it. And you go, I already know. I already know. So in 2025, someone who is having issues with this obscurity called gray matter, brain fog, whatever, it really is a hit to run. And a hit to run comes in on 2 runs to be like the bay of the stay, of the lay, of they get to stay home and they get to do all these things. And you go, no. You're not supposed to do that. But what do? They do a run through. And you go, no, they didn't do a run through. They didn't do that. And that's how you know they're not clear. They're not clear whatsoever. It really is hard. It really is hard to actually get it out. When you do it, most things boil down to some sort of criminal activity. But really, it's like impedance. Or is it health at this point? Because when you actually look through it and you actually go through their daily habits and whatever they have gone through, you can't even see it coming whatsoever. So let's look at the cards. What do we need to know about gray matter? It's so hard to get out, and that's how you know it's obscurity. You just can't even see through it. So usually for me as a magician, I can usually see through things really easy. But when it is gray matter, other than occulted, you're not going to see past your nose. Gray matter, it's usually just like in your house. And then like if it is like receding back, you're lucky it's staying, like you can see around your yard. And like I got to get outside and I actually have to see this. It is a type of trickery. It is meant to be a mystery. It is a fire starter outside your realm, which is your property. And when you see it, it really is like the luck of the day. And when you see it and you say, when you find it, it was highly dishonorable because then you found the impedance. But when you see the Knight of Wands actually go through, you go, holy cow, this is a false start. You couldn't even run to it. And then you lose things. So when we usually say this Ten of Pentacles in reverse has to do with like inheritance and securement and probate and anything of that nature and money, it really is a loss of something tangible. And it looks um like masculine energy that is like what they would say misogyny or toxic masculinity, and it's like a loss of like a certain type of like positive negative energy and out of in someone out of someone. I can't even get it out fast enough. But then all of a sudden there's no deals. It really is a breakdown of the system of someone, and it really is like whoever like identifies it goes, I think that maybe you should actually go to the doctor when you actually figure out, because you're looking around like, I hope they don't come around. I hope they don't come around. And it really sounds mean, and you're really trying to manifest certain things. And then all of a sudden you go, Knight of Pentacles. Holy cow. All of a sudden you're like, no, I'm so sorry this happened, but I got to do this. And it really is emotional when they identify that they had done something wrong. And it's highly dictative. So you're like, maybe like what we've been saying in this current like year and month, maybe we should slow down, and then maybe we should actually uh hunker down a little bit better because it's still cold and flu season. We're not out of the clear yet, for lack of a better term. And you go, yeah, because all of a sudden you're looking around and you're like, is this petty theft? Is this like something that should be called to EPS or maybe DDS or DCF? We're not sure of what's going on here. So all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I actually could foresee it because I am pretty clear. And then, you know, you have to use your logic, not so much your intuition or your instinct or your psychic abilities. And then all of a sudden you lose money. There's like, again, like you can't regain even as someone who is clear, absolutely clear. So when you say this and you say the Page of Pentacles, you go, holy cow, holy cow. You can't even do it. All of a sudden it's like, here's a few bucks. Here you go. And then you say, are you selling yourself? And then you go, wait a minute. Here you go. They're not being prudent. Whoever is like this energy vampire that's like surrounding me and is blocking up, and all of a sudden you get anxiety. And then all of a sudden you go, oh my God, secure. I gotta protect. I gotta secure everything. I gotta clean everything up. I gotta put everything away. I literally can't. I literally can't. And you go, no, halt, stop. And then you go, wait a minute, I can't even cook dinner out on the grill. I can't even do anything. And you go, where is this like sense of it's not so much like addiction, it's like habits, it's habitual. And then you go, found it, absolutely found it. When you do it, when you're looking at this like as the universal collective, and when I say universal, I'm usually pretty like direct on it. It really has to do with not so much deep space, like how I usually talk about it. It's everyone as a community. When you say obscurities and then you say the gray matter, and like what is this thing that we're talking about, liberation? Why are we talking about terrorists? Why are we talking about tax day? Why are we talking about where things have to be unveiled? Why are we talking about all these things where I can't even see past my yard? I have to watch everything like around the clock. You're not to see it. It's not foreseen. And you go, I'm really tired of this. It really is something about the checkbooks. That is what everyone wants to know about the checkbooks. It goes to the Queen of Cups. so hard where you have to sit alone quietly and clear yourself and say, what actually happened? What actually happened? Because I just can't even see past my nose. And then you have to check in. And then you go, no, there's no steel. Yeah, I know, because I talked about it with Teamsters. They're like, no, I have to be alone. I have to be alone. You don't understand. And they're like, you're just not. And you go, I already know this conversation. I already know. You can't even make it up how hard it is to say no sometimes. No, not clear. Not clear. Not what they wish for. But usually, this King of Swords, when it's talking about this, it really is this like breath that you get when you have these individuals around you and you have to keep them away so you can keep clear and understand it, that you can't even believe how hard it is to even like get out of the house. All right. Here we go. All you have to know is that all of a sudden it's known. You know the person, you know the situation that is obscuring you to where it makes you sick, to what I call an energy sickness, also, to where you have nausea, like vomiting, to GI symptoms, even further, to fever, to anything of that nature, where you have to go in and go to the doctor like there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Like you have like loss of appetite, you have migraines. You can't get anything done. You're down for like 3 or 4 days afterwards and you're trying to get back on track. So when you go to that highest extent and you go to everything to where you can't even see it, you go, where is this going? I'm hearing, look through the crystal a little bit more. You really can't get known even. You can't even get out of the driveway. And it gets tiresome to the point where you say, no, not today. I can't get together today, or I can't go into work today because I'm done. I need a mental health day and I need to go to the doctor. And I think you've been to the doctor or used your PTO too much. And we say, we already know. We already know. So when I do that and I actually go, let's go to the White Sage Tarot and see what else does it have to say about this situation. I feel like it's going to pop and hit the nail on the head by an August. By an August. Unknown year where people are like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tired of this. It'll come right to you. It'll be like someone who's sitting clearly, like a fresh vision, a new perspective to objective, where you sit actually well with them again. And you see this Eight of Wands where all of a sudden there's no more communication. And you see this Ten of Wands and you say, yeah, it really is that bad. It really is that bad. What is this burden that we can't even get out to you? And you say, it really wasn't that hard. Even for coworkers, you failed policy, procedure, and protocol, and you endangered my life to where it actually caused harm here, up to here, and here into the voice box for some people. And that's why there has been out, at least in this community in Connecticut, that you say, this Page of Wands goes, I bet you any money. I'm hearing Kansas, I'm hearing Arkansas, and then I'm also hearing Alaska. Like you can't even believe how hard it is. It hit. That's when you have to say, I'm stepping out into a new journey. So for me, when it was changing over to being a stay-at-home mom and being a military wife and going forward with psychic medium work, with magician work, it really wasn't that hard of a decision because it went to a deployment And then all of a sudden, the deployment known showed up in my house. And it went to toilet not working, dishwasher not working, can't pay the bills, can't go to work because the school is calling me over chicken nuggets. And then I had to go pick up the kids. And then it goes to even further because they didn't do something or somebody else in the community didn't do something and I had to keep them home. And then I went to, nope, I'm pretty sure the kids and whatever came through about that deployment said, you stay home. And that's all you needed to know. And that happens a lot, especially in military, especially with law enforcement, where they go, no, I have to stay home. You don't understand, even upon untimely deaths. Now, when you see like healthcare or anywhere else where all of a sudden they make that huge shift or make like a huge like profession change, it usually has to do with policy, procedure, and protocol or coworkers and like that gray matter and like everything else coming through where they sit better. This Queen of Wands means they're sitting well balanced. They're tranquil, but not tranquilized. And when you see it and you go to this Knight of Cups, you go, holy cow, I actually can help like reciprocate emotions. Again, I can feel my own emotions. I can hear my own thoughts. I can't even do it. So when I see the Seven of Pentacles, it really is skilled work. But how do you do it? And then it goes, that's not what's obscure because it's for them to figure out. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. So let's go to the Starseed Oracle. And then let's actually go to the Literary Witches Oracle and see what else we have to say about this gray matter. Gray matter could also be like meat in the middle with paperwork. It's gray. It's not black, it's white. It's gray. Here we go. Codependency boundaries. That is the biggest thing with gray matter. You literally have to forge and not follow. You have to pave a new path and be the leader you wish you had. You gotta go it alone. When you see this, water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. You literally gotta take a break. You gotta take a break. All of a sudden, everyone walks in and like, oh, God, stay away. It really is say yes to change. All of a sudden, it's like right there, and you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna do. I think you just need to do. So when you say it and you say isolation, physical connection, and community, you have to say yes. Yes, it will affect the community. Hard. When you say it's not time yet and things are being woven, you have to say all of a sudden, it's true. Like as soon as you get out, that's when it actually is supposed to come together for you and made based on what it is. It's about physical and emotional health. And lastly with this, that is when it says deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal, that's where it is. Like that's when the birth of something new starts, when you make that decision to say, I'm not doing energy vampire. I'm not doing anyone who's going to actually drain my energy. I'm not going to do anything to this highest extent where I can't get anything done, especially when it comes to work life and home life whatsoever. When you actually are trying to use your intuition and turn your gaze within, that's when you know that you're on the right track. Here we go. Literary Witches Oracle, and that will be it for the night. So that one came right out. It has to do with human behavior, especially with like a type of loss, especially mental and emotional and physical. where it almost becomes like divine splendor and craving, where they have to. Why? Because it's clean and clear, to almost where it goes to wit and fun. And when that happens, it goes to like belonging, where they have to be with you. And then all of a sudden, you're in the dark. You don't even know what's going on. So when you see this and you see devotion, I am devoted to my family and my friends and my community, but I gotta stay away. I gotta stay away. A lot of times it has to do with family. And then you say, I love them, but I have to stay away. And then you go, quiet place of growth. That is where you're supposed to heal. You're supposed to slow down yourself, and you're supposed to actually like look inward and say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm supposed to be. And this is where I need to go to get back on track. And that's all you need to know. So with that being said, that's all you need to know for the week is with that about gray matter. Now, with any questions or concerns, go ahead, leave a like, a comment, a share, an email is greatly appreciated, and we will talk to you soon and have a good night.